had some things I've been sitting on that I couldn't talk about for a while.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah. So I was a jurist.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
That
interesting.
Yes.
When did this happen?
it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
So, and it was one of those deals. You come in, you sign the thing. You're not allowed to talk about the case while the case is ongoing.
Sure.
So, I figured the case was going to go about 3 or 4 days,
and
I don't know. I mean, like I ended up not being on the jury.
Oh,
but I had to go through like the whole process.
okay. So you went to be on the jury.
Yes.
And they probably kicked you out because of. Well,
I'm
I could give you a number of reasons.
I'm going to tell you why they kicked me out.
I will tell you this. So I've got duty coming up in September, and I've got so many outs. I'm not gonna lie, but there's part of me that kind of wants to I want to do this.
I can
a little bit.
I can almost guarantee that you're not going to have my out.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but here's the deal. It was I can't mention names or any of that kind of stuff, but it was a termination of parental rights case.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Those are brutal.
Yeah.
And so here's what was bizarre to me is, you're sitting there in a room with, like 100 people who are potential jurists, and then you're looking at the people who are there to go through this process and all the attorneys and everything, and it's real obvious who's who. There's the judge, there's the attorney, there's the the people who are having to go through this case.
Right.
And there's 2 parents, and so 3 sets of attorneys, one for each parent and then one for the kid. And the attorneys get up and they start asking questions to individuals in the room. And so because of things that you filled out, they're singling you out based off the answers to surveys that you've taken when you came in.
Right.
And so the one that kept coming up, and this is just bizarre to me. It was so if you knew that an adult had been involved in a violent crime, would you be able to be impartial in this case based on the evidence? And it's that is such a weird question.
Yeah, I feel like either answer is wrong.
Yeah, of course I'm going to be biased if I know that they've had a violent crime.
Right.
And then it was, if you knew that drugs had been involved, would you be able to be unbiased against the defendant? And it's what?
Do you actually want me to be unbiased in that situation?
But this is the defense attorney, right?
Okay.
It's they obviously want the best case scenario for their client.
Yeah.
And it kept going like that. It was it just got worse and worse and worse. And so when they started asking, they would be juror 36, stand up. I need to ask you some questions. This one guy, they asked him to stand up, and the guy had been a CASA representative. And she asked him, hey, could you be unbiased in this case? And he goes, well, I've been a CASA representative for a number of years, and so that I know that when termination of parental rights gets to this point, it's pretty much a done deal.
Oh. Wow.
And just announces that to the entire room. And so he's out.
He's out immediately.
He's out. So, but when they bring you into the room...
By the way, he was prepared for that.
Oh, yeah. He knew exactly what was going on. Yeah. So here was what made it weird for me, is when they bring all of you into the room, they say, is there any reason that any of the jurists in the room need to be excused or, can't serve on this jury? And so they just ask you to raise your hand and go up and talk to the judge. Is there any specific reason? And so I raise my hand, and I get in the line because there's 20 of us.
Oh yeah,
and because nobody wants to be there.
No.
And a number I'm standing in line. Guy will go up and talk to the judge. Judge will talk to him. They'll either come sit back down or she'll send him out of the room. So I get called up to the front, and she goes, "What is your issue today?" And I said, honestly, I don't have an issue. I'd be happy to serve on this jury, but I know that attorney, and I know that attorney, and I know a couple of the jurists, and they're like, "How do you know them?" And I'm like, "They're my clients." And I was like, "They're like, well, could you, sift through the evidence properly?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd be fine with that." I was like, "But I know that person, and I know that." I'm trying to tell her, I'm not going to be biased towards the evidence, but I'm going to be biased towards my clients.
Right.
It's just,
sorry,
I know them.
Right, and they pay me.
Right.
So I need them to stay happy with me.
And so I'm saying this like in front of the judge and all the attorneys who are listening. And she goes, I think you'll be okay.
Really?
What?
Oh.
And I'm like, okay. And she goes,
Shoot, that was...
well, and she literally said to me, she goes, honestly, the attorneys are probably going to dismiss you anyway.
Yeah.
But why don't you just go sit down? At that point, I'm like, if you know
Right.
that they're going to, like, why make me sit here for another
Let me
2
go.
hours?
Yeah, let me go.
So that you can send me a $10 check?
Yeah.
Like, no.
No, thank you.
No.
Yeah.
So
Well, I just